How you guys doing? I hope everyone is doing fine in these trying and and exciting times. But today we're going to be learning about dictionaries in Python. So a dictionary is a data type and a collection of data. So essentially, it's just a collection or grouping of key value pairs. So if you think of just a normal dictionary, if you were to want to find the definition of a word, you would just look up that word and then find the definition. So you can think about the actual name of the word as a key and the definition as the value. And one of the great things about this data structure is that actually accessing and finding values via the key is pretty fast operation, and that's because of the underlying data structures it took to build a dictionary. And we won't go into that this video, but this is a very great data structure to learn about, and it'll make you a better programmer. Not only is it going to help you answer certain types of programming problems, but also you're probably going to be wanting to use this type of data when you're fetching or requesting data from APIs, because a lot of that information is coming from what's known as JavaScript object notation. And what you usually do, like when you request that data, like it comes in a string and then you have to convert it to an object, whether that be in JavaScript or in Python. But just to give you a visualization, for a dictionary, if you want to just set an empty dictionary, all you have to do. And for today, we're going to create a dictionary of types of shirts. So, shirts. So if I just wanted to create an empty dictionary right there, I would just have an empty curly braces here. And this is what is known as an empty dictionary. Now, this is very similar to the structure of how you would initialize a set. So sets also use like this curly brace, but the big difference is that sets, you have to input the numbers. The only way to initialize an empty set is by to use the keyword set, which is this. And but that's very useful data structure for this. Again, we're just focusing on key value pairs. So let's say we want to fill out that dictionary right here. So I'm going to type in, we'll use this as an inventory. So we're going to have the types of shirts and then the number of shirts we have in the store. So let's see, Hawaiian, as a little tribute to my shirt I have on right now. Let's make sure I can spell Hawaiian correctly. I hope that's right. Let's just say we have 5 of those. Okay. And you can see that we have like this key. So like if we were to use this or want to find the amount of Hawaiian shirts we have, we would access it either through dot notation or by indexing based on this key. So let's say you wanted to print the actual value, so you would just search it up like this. And if I save this and run this file, you can see that I was able to access it based on the index. So also when you're done inputting one key value pair, you always want to add like a comma in order to add a new one. So with this, now I'm going to add polo, and let's just say we have around 13 of those. So now if I wanted to access the value or the amount of polo shirts, I would just change this index right here. And I should expect to see the number 13 when I run this Python program. So as you can see, 13. And the really cool thing about Python, kind of in comparison to a list or arrays in Python, are that there are built-in methods to kind of play around and iterate through the data. So I mentioned this in a prior video, but a couple of the built-in methods you could use are dot items, dot keys, and dot values. So let's just say we wanted to iterate over the keys and values in this specific dictionary. So I could do that by using shirts. So that's the dictionary object. And then with anything else in Python, let's say it's a string or a list, you can actually just add a dot and then the method name to the end of it. Because with Python, everything's an object, and each type of object has its own built-in functions. In this case, shirts is a dictionary, and then with shirts, you can see that things showed up. So I can use dot items, dot values, dot keys, So with this, I want to use .items because I want to return the key and the value. So let's just return that, and then what I should expect to see is Hawaiian and 5, Polo 13, kind of written line by line. So let's see that in action. So you can see that I was able to iterate through this dictionary pretty rapidly using this built-in function. So the one really crucial thing you have to remember for dictionaries is that there are an unordered collection of information. So as these dictionaries get larger and larger, you can't expect them to be in the same order as you could with a list, because lists are ordered based on index. The benefit and trade-off you have with dictionaries is because everything is easily accessible because of linked lists. So basically, like pointers in memory point to this specific key. So for example, this is a value stored in memory. Hawaiian's the key, and this key points to this value. So they're not sequenced sequentially or like locally, similar to an array. This is basically just a collection that, due to hash tables, you can kind of just find easily. So while it's fast to access these elements based on the index, you are sacrificing a little bit of the ordered nature of list in order to use them. So another key thing to mention is like this key and val right here. You could just name them whatever. If I wanted to name this cat and dog, it essentially does the same thing. So cat and dog. These names don't matter, but essentially the first element is going to be your index and your key or your index, and then the second element is going to be the actual value. So this would be 5 for that value, and then the index or key is Hawaiian. So if I save this, it should return the same output. So you can see it returned the same output, and we're still not sure if Hawaiian is spelled correctly, but we'll just move on and see if so it does appear that I misspelled it. So let's fix that. So I just got to add an A here. A here. And you can see now it's fixed. So one of the cool things about dictionaries, again, is being able to access and mutate the state of the values. So for example, if I wanted to add, let's say I wanted to go through let's just say this list right here. So I'm going to create like a list of shirts. So list of new shirts. So let's just say we have like a batch of new shirts coming in. So let's say one is collared. Then we got another Hawaiian. Then we got another Hawaiian. Hawaiian. We got one polo. We got just a normal t-shirt, and we got another normal t-shirt. Okay, so let's just say that's the inventory that comes in, and I want to add changes to my whole inventory within this dictionary. So what I want to do is add 2 Hawaiian shirts to this existing 5, so to change it to 7. And then for the polo, I want to add it by 1, so that should change from 13 to 14. Since I have these 2 new shirts, collared and t-shirt, I should expect to see a collared shirt key here that shows the value 1, and for t-shirt, that should be a key pointing to the number 2. So in order to mutate or change or transform this dictionary, all I have to do is iterate through these lists of shirts. So let's just say for shirt in list of new. Oops, list of new. So one great thing that you can do with a lot of these collections of data is check membership. So hey, is this element, is this value in my dictionary? Is it in my set? Is it in my list? And you can do that by doing a simple conditional, so if statement. So if shirt is if shirt in shirts, oops, didn't even capitalize that. Then so if we see this existing element, let's say Hawaiian, it already exists. We're just going to add it by 1. So we just take that dictionary, and again, remember we can access it through the index. So and since this underlying shirt is just a string, we can just put a variable. in that index, and now all we have to do if it exists is add by 1. Now let's say it doesn't exist, so if shirt not in shirts, then what we can do is just initialize a new key and value. So we set to 1, and then let's say that we see t-shirt again. So like this first part right here, it would fail this first test right here on the if statement, and then create essentially this key value t-shirt to 1, and then the next time when we go to the last element in this list, so shirt or t-shirt is in this dictionary, and then it'll add by 1. So what we should expect to see, like with this looping, is Hawaiian, the value is 7, polo 14, collared 1, and t-shirt 2. So let's test this out. Shirts, and see what our output is. So you can see that we have 7 Hawaiian shirts, 14 polo shirts, 1 collared shirt, and 2 t-shirts. So again, like this is one of my favorite things you can do, and it's very helpful actually in programming interview questions. Using dictionaries or hash tables to basically count, and whether it be characters or actually items, basically just having a counter on the key you're trying to keep track of. So very, very useful. Let's say you wanted to delete like a specific key and value. Like what you could do is, let's say before this, we choose not to store collared shirts, so you can use the del or del statement, and then all you have to do is shirts, and then again, remember we use the key, so this is collared. So what we should expect to see here is the same output minus collared. So let's save that and run it. So you can see that we're able to delete the collared shirt, and that change was reflected with that del statement. And one final thing I want to mention is that let's say you wanted to combine two dictionaries. So let's say we had some like hats merchandise, right? And like one thing you could do, like you could use the update function. So with that function, you could actually combine the 2 dictionaries, and whatever values and keys in the second dictionary would override existing keys in the first dictionary and add new ones too. So let's just say that in hats we have, let's see, cowboy, and we just add, I don't know, 24. And then let's say that for some reason we have Hawaiian like hats. And let's say we want that to be 75. So if we save that, and at the end of this I add, let's see, shirts, print shirts dot update hats, what we should expect to see is cowboy. That's going to be added to as a key and value pair, and then Hawaiian is going to overwrite the this Hawaiian here, and the 7 that was updated within this little for loop. So let's see that happen right now. So you can see, let's make sure. Okay, let me try this again. Make sure I did this right. So let's do this to shirts. So I got to assign it to a variable. Let me print shirts again. Okay. Just disregard the update function, but for the most part, you won't use it that much. For dictionaries, you are going to primarily be using .items to return the keys and values. You're going to use .keys if you just want to return the keys as you're iterating through this dictionary, and then .values if you just want the values. So really cool stuff with dictionaries, just a really simple data structure. So you have a collection of unordered keys and values, and the primary benefit is just having that quick access to an underlying value based on the key, and then putting that in an index. So please play around with this. It's going to be very useful when you actually start doing some program interviews, and you're going to be using it a lot for API requests and other types of Python programs too. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Cheers!